When the saints in Jerusalem look at this generous offering that the Corinthian church has given, they will say, how in the world did they do that? And when God looks at your giving, God will say, I know how you did it. It was by my surpassing grace that enabled you to give such a generous gift to me. Other people may see you struggling. Other people may know your struggle. But when God looks at your giving, and when people recognize what you give to God, they'll say, how in the world did he do it? Or how in the world did she do it? It enables the believer to give for the glory of God. Last principle here. The enabling grace of God enables the believer to give as an expression of gratitude for their salvation. Paul is wrapping up his plea to these Corinthians to give this generous offering. He's asked them to make giving, generous giving, a priority in their hearts. He's asked them to make sure they don't give grudgingly, but give cheerfully. He's told them to make sure they understand that God will always make them sufficient to give towards the good work, planting seeds. Paul wants them to know that their giving will be enabled by the grace of God to bring glory to God. Paul is now wrapping up, and he closes out in verse 15. He's caught up. He doesn't know how to sum it up. And so he just writes this one line. He says, thanks be to God for his indescribable gift. Paul has been arguing and exhorting these Corinthian believers to give a generous gift. But while he's exhorting them about this generous gift, his mind goes back to another generous gift. And Paul is so caught up, he's lost for words. The word there that he uses for indescribable means ineffable. It means you can't find the right words to describe what you're trying to say. Paul is so caught up in what he knows about the gift he's received through Christ in the matter of giving. Paul says, I don't even know what to say. All I can say is that the gift we've received is so indescribable. That's what drives my giving. And can I tell you something? Grace giving is always done in appreciation from what the gift the believer has received. The gift the believer has received can be found in John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. You want to know how much that gift costs? You want to know how generous God is in giving? You want to know what it cost God to give the gift of his Son? Watch this. God gave a gift and broke the gift-giving etiquette. When you give a gift, you normally take the price tag off the gift so people don't know how much you paid for the gift. But God didn't do that. God left the price tag on the gift so we would know just how much it cost him, his only begotten Son. The only one righteous enough to die in our place. God gave his only Son to die for sinners like you and I. And when Paul talks about giving, he now looks. And I can't speak for nobody else, but when I think about the gift God gave me through Jesus Christ, how in the world can I withhold from him the smallest amount for the indescribable gift God has given unto me? His Son, Jesus the Christ. Matthew Henry, that 17th century preacher and commentator, and after preaching, he walked back to his hotel under the cover of night. And while walking back to his hotel, he was assaulted and robbed. However, Matthew Henry always tried to be thankful for everything that happened in his life. And even though he was robbed that night, in his journal, he recorded at least 4 things he was thankful for. The first thing he recorded in that book, he wrote these words: let me be thankful first that I was never robbed before. The second thing Matthew Henry wrote in that book, about being thankful for being robbed. He says, second,